The entire office fell silent the moment she asked the question. Sunlight streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the executive conference room, illuminating dozens of employees gathered for the company's annual community recognition event. Standing at the front was the company's young CEO, a woman known for her confidence, intelligence, and ability to command any room she entered. Yet at that moment, her voice carried something entirely different. It carried vulnerability. Across the room stood a quiet black single father who had spent nearly 2 years avoiding direct eye contact with her. Everyone noticed it. Everyone wondered about it. And now she was finally asking. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of hope, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with friends and family, and subscribe to the channel Heartwarming Tales for more inspiring stories. His name was Tavian Brooks. Most employees knew him as the building operations supervisor. He arrived before sunrise every day and often left long after everyone else had gone home. He was the person who fixed broken equipment, handled emergencies, prepared conference rooms, and quietly solved problems before they became disasters. Most people barely noticed him. But every evening when Tavian left work, another full-time job waited for him. Being a father. 6 years earlier, a tragic illness had taken his wife, leaving him alone to raise their young daughter, Amara. Since then, every decision in his life revolved around her happiness. His mornings began before dawn. He prepared breakfast, packed school lunches, braided Amara's hair after watching countless online tutorials, and walked her to the bus stop before heading to work. Money was often tight. Sleep was rare. But love filled every corner of their small apartment. Despite the challenges, Tavian never complained. He simply kept moving forward. What nobody at work knew was how many sacrifices he made every day. Several times each month he skipped lunch to save money for Amara's school activities. When co-workers faced hardships, anonymous donations often appeared without explanation. When local charities needed volunteers, Tavian was usually the first person there and the last to leave. Yet he never sought recognition. The company's CEO, Sloan Mercer, rarely interacted with him directly during her first year leading the organization. She noticed his professionalism. She respected his work ethic. But their worlds seemed completely different. Sloan managed corporate partnerships, investor meetings, and expansion projects. Tavian managed maintenance schedules and building repairs. At least that's what she thought. Everything began changing on a bright spring morning. A severe storm had damaged several homes throughout the city the previous weekend. Many employees were discussing the disaster during lunch. That afternoon, Sloan visited a community relief center representing the company. What she found there surprised her. Standing in the middle of dozens of volunteers was Tavian. He wasn't simply helping. He was leading. He organized supplies, coordinated deliveries, comforted frightened families, and somehow managed to remember every child's name. People naturally gravitated toward him. Children smiled when he approached. Elderly residents trusted him immediately. Volunteers followed his direction without hesitation. Sloan watched quietly from a distance. For the first time, she saw a side of him that never appeared inside the office. Over the following months, similar discoveries continued. She learned he mentored fatherless boys on weekends. She learned he coached youth basketball without accepting payment. She learned he spent much of his free time helping people who could never repay him. Each revelation chipped away at the assumptions she had unconsciously made. Yet one thing continued puzzling her. Whenever she spoke directly to Tavian, he remained respectful and professional, but he almost never looked her in the eyes. At first she assumed he was shy. Then she wondered if he disliked her. Later she considered whether she had unknowingly offended him. But the mystery remained unsolved. Meanwhile, an unexpected friendship slowly developed. Their conversations became more frequent. They discussed community projects. They shared ideas about helping local families. They discovered similar values despite their vastly different backgrounds. Sloane found herself looking forward to those conversations. Tavian did too, though he rarely admitted it, even to himself. One sunny afternoon, the company organized a family appreciation picnic in a large public park. Employees brought spouses, children, and relatives. For the first time, Sloane met Amara. The little girl immediately captured everyone's attention. She was bright, kind, and remarkably polite. More importantly, it was obvious how much she adored her father. Throughout the day, Sloane watched Tavian interact with his daughter. He listened carefully whenever she spoke. He celebrated every small accomplishment. He made her feel like the most important person in the world. It was beautiful to witness. And somewhere during that afternoon, Sloane realized something unexpected. The admiration she felt for Tavian had become something deeper. Not because of his appearance. Not because of his job. But because of the man he was. The months that followed became increasingly complicated emotionally. Neither of them crossed professional boundaries. Neither expressed what they felt. Yet an unspoken connection continued growing. Then came the annual community recognition event. Hundreds attended. Several employees received awards. When Tavian's name was announced for a special leadership recognition honor, the audience erupted into applause. Many people already knew about his volunteer work. Few understood the full extent of it. As Sloane stood on stage presenting the award, she looked at him once again. And once again, he avoided her eyes. This time she couldn't stop herself. The question escaped before she could reconsider. "Why won't you look at me?" The room instantly became silent. Tavian froze. For several seconds, nobody moved. The question carried far more meaning than most people realized. After a long pause, he finally raised his eyes. For the first time since joining the company, he looked directly at her. What happened next stunned everyone. His expression softened. Years of restraint seemed to disappear. And then came the answer. "When I do, I forget you're my boss." A collective gasp moved through the audience. But Tavian wasn't finished. He explained that from the moment he truly got to know her, he had seen her kindness, compassion, and dedication to helping others. He admired her deeply. More than he should have. More than was professionally comfortable. Avoiding eye contact had become his way of protecting both of them from feelings he never intended to develop. The room remained silent. Some people smiled. Others wiped tears from their eyes. Because everyone could see the sincerity behind his words. Sloane's eyes filled with emotion. Not because of the confession itself. But because it reflected the same feelings she had been struggling to ignore. The months that followed brought many conversations, careful decisions, and respectful boundaries. Eventually, after ensuring everything was handled appropriately and professionally, they began building a relationship outside of work. More importantly, they built a family. Sloane never tried to replace Amara's mother. Instead, she became another source of love and support in the young girl's life. The three of them discovered that families are sometimes formed not only through birth but through kindness, trust, and genuine care. Years later, on another bright sunny afternoon, they sat together at a community center watching children play. The same place where Sloane had first witnessed Tavian's extraordinary character. Life wasn't perfect. Challenges still existed. But they faced them together. And that made all the difference. Special request: if this story touched your heart, comment below with, "Character matters more than circumstances." If this story inspired you or reminded you of the power of kindness, please like, share, and subscribe to Heartwarming Tales so more people can discover stories that bring hope and encouragement. Because sometimes the most remarkable people aren't the ones standing in the spotlight. They're the quiet individuals making sacrifices no one sees, carrying responsibilities no one understands, and showing kindness when nobody is watching. When we take the time to truly see people beyond their titles, positions, or circumstances, we often discover extraordinary hearts hidden in ordinary places. And sometimes, the greatest love stories begin not with grand gestures, but with simple respect, genuine admiration, and the courage to finally look someone in the eyes.